Welcome to the factory of programming. Prepare your mind for exclusive tech experience. Listening to Vivo Bon right now.
Hello everybody. So today we will speak about Java 21 string templates. It's a new feature that provides easiness in completing, changing, and updating block of text. So the video summary is this one. You should see my screen. So we'll first check the JEP 430 and read the summary. Then we will ask ChatGPT what is interpolation, because it is the main topic of this JEP. Then we will see how we did before this string template feature. And then we will proceed to demo with a simple interpolation, then an interpolation with calculation, then an interpolation with a method call, then an interpolation with object fields feeding, and multi-lines and text block. And then we will conclude with some comments from Reddit, and that's all. Okay, so let's get to the JEP 430. So I go on Edge, Bing, and here is a summary of this JEP. Enhance the Java programming language with string templates. String templates complement Java existing string literals and text block by coupling literal text with embedded expression and template processor to produce specialized results. This is a preview language feature and API. This is a preview. Remember this. And so let's ask ChatGPT what is interpolation. So it search for interpolation, and then it define it like interpolation in programming can refer to different concepts depending on the context. One common use of interpolation is string interpolation, which is the process of evaluating a string literal containing one or more placeholder, yielding a result in which the placeholder are replaced with their corresponding values. And here we have, for example, this mechanism of interpolation with two value, one string and one integer, and then it put in the placeholder the two value to create a full filled string value. And let's ask it define in one statement interpolation with simple word. And we will conclude by saying that interpolation is a way of filling in the gaps between no data points. This is the shortest definition from ChatGPT. Okay, so we did the JEP definition, the ChatGPT definition, and now we will get to the JEP to see what we did before in Java to do interpolation. So let's get back to the web page of the JEP 430. And before, we have several way of doing this. We can just concatenate with the plus sign, or we could use a string builder with the append method, or we could use the string dot format, and also a string with a dot formatted, and also message format requires and with a message format. So you see, it is a bit hard to read such stuff. So the Java 21 string templates feature will ease to read such text with more easiness. Okay. Now we'll proceed to the demo. So let's get to IntelliJ. So you see here it is the first demo. So a simple interpolation. I provide the name, here Vinny. Here I have the string value, and I complete with the placeholder with the name, which is just here. And I will compile this. in Java C release 21. I have to use the terminal of IntelliJ because IntelliJ does not support yet the new features. And then I run the application. And you see we have the result str basic. My name is Vinny. It complete it feed the placeholder with the value provided just here with this simple syntax. So now we'll use another interpolation, which is the str calculation. We will do calculation in the with this interpolation feature. So let's get back to the dump. I copy the second example. I will comment it in this class. Okay. So here what we are doing, we define a two value, x and y, and then we feed in the text the two value plus the calculation of the sum of these two value. And we should get in output 10 plus 20 equal 30. Let's check this. I compile, I execute. And we have str calculation 10 plus 20 equal 30. So this was for calculation. So you can do calculation in this placeholder. And now we will use the next one is with a method call. Okay. So we will call a method in our text interpolation. Let's use this from the dump. Method call. I go in the test. I passed this. I need a method. You see on the get offer type. I defined it in the bottom of the dump code, and I will define this method just here. So what will do this code? It will define a text which call in a placeholder method defined in the class get offer type. This method will provide a string in a response, and we should see in the answer you have a gift waiting for you. So let's execute and compile this. Compile, execute. And you see, str with method call, you have a gift waiting for you. So you can call code from the text of the str interpolation feature mechanism. Let's get to the next one, demonstration. So str with object fields. So let's copy from the dump with object fields, str with object fields, copy, paste. So here I define a record. You know how it works, a record. It's a feature from Java 14, which allow you to have a kind of class, but with more immutability characteristics. And then I use it. Donc, so record rec string with a date, a time, and a IP address. And I instantiate this record with the free value. And then I use this value, but the field of this object, which is an object with free attribute, and I use the field, the attributes, in the text block in the text interpolation. So we should see access at 2023 July 8, 10 past 10:30:45, and the IP address 192.168.01. Let's compile and run. Compile, run. You see, str with object field access at, and the date, the time, and the IP address. So you can use the granularity of the object to test to get the value. Then the next demo is the multi-line. Okay. So the multi-line, it is this one. Because of IntelliJ not supporting yet the feature, we will have a little problem of indentation with this one. So here you see I indent, but as it doesn't understand the interpolation feature, it believes that I close the main method, but that's not the case, and I will put this here. Okay. So okay. So what does this code? We have a multi-line string, which is doing that. It's doing a call to a datetime formatter, so we can execute some code directly in the interpolation text, and this will display the the time as the format hour, minute, and second. Let's compile and run. I have to import the class. Compile, run, and you see it works. Besides the problem of understanding of IntelliJ of this snippet. Okay, so let's get to the next one. The next one is str text block. Let's go to the dump. HTML text block. I copy this. So it will be very useful to change some HTML text block, and you see it's very readable with this way of doing. We can put a text block with the HTML, and then we can complete, thanks to this new feature of interpolation, quite easily. So we should see this code with the value Java 21 demo page here in this placeholder and Elovini in this placeholder. Let's execute and compile, execute, and you see we have str HTML text block and the HTML with the title and the content. Okay, so let's remove this example that we just explained. And the next one and the last one, it is the JSON text block. And here it was the HTML. The JSON text block, let's get back to the dump. It's the same principle, but here we use a text block with a JSON rather than an HTML code. So we will provide the first name, an email, and a city, and the interpolation feature of Java 21 should complete the JSON with this free value. Let's compile and execute. And you see, I've got a text block with a name, Vini, email, my email, city, and my city. Okay, so we saw the different interpolation, multi-line, calculation, basic interpolation. And now we will conclude with some Reddit comment. So I will open the Reddit page. I will zoom in. So what does people of Reddit say about this new feature? Let's get back to the beginning. I highlighted some information. For example, one site using slashes for real, and it is because at least 17 languages use dollar for this feature. And so maybe it would have been interesting to use dollar rather than a slash. But here he says switch as backslash, so why not? I have no opinion about this. For me, it's the same. But some Reddit fellas thinks otherwise. Then, why do we need str at the beginning? And here, another side example of using a JSON template. The processor can then decide how to format the value of each interpolation. So what we put at the beginning of the interpolation is to define the way of how it will handle the content. And it is also to be a source of security vulnerability aware. Because it is extremely dangerous to do string. So maybe by declining with JSON and other prompt, it will allow to do some safer operation. Okay, so I think we're good with this Java 21 feature. So I will conclude and say thank you for watching and see you in next video.